Hi. So, just waiting for someone. Oh. So, hi, I am Oksana, your guide around St. Petersburg today, and we'll just wait for a couple minutes for those who couldn't. Yeah, just for anyone, some more people than just three of us. Hi, hi. I think I'll wait for. Oh yeah. While waiting, can you tell me? You hear me well? Can you hear me well? If yes, send me top 5 or something. Hi, Dasha. Great. So yeah, I think I'll wait for at least 10 people. Now there are only 4 of you. Thanks. Well, yeah. For those who don't know me, there are 2 of you who know nothing about me. I'm Oksana. I'm from Saint-Petersburg. I was born here, lived here for my whole life. I lived here. Whole life is 24 years for me. What else? Yeah, I'm guide. So my profession is guiding around St. Petersburg and suburbs. Right now I have actually no work, no tourist, no work. Still only 4 people. Five, great. Probably not to wait for 6. Great. I thought 7. 3 more and we'll start. 6 again. So. Hi. Well, 5 again. Okay, let's start. So once again, we're in St. Petersburg. I'm in St. Petersburg. I'm locally Oksana. I'm 24, if you wonder. And today we have a walk around Petrogradka, one of the most, probably the most mysterious district of St. Petersburg. A bit later I'll try to explain why this place is considered to be mysterious. So right now, just to warm up. Yeah, you still hear me well, yeah? So just to warm up, if you try to find this place on the map, Google Map for example, it's next to Peter and Paul Fortress, you'll see it will be called city area, and next to this tag there will be one more called Rusalочка. It's in Russian, and in English it's mermaid. But yeah, and you can think that it's like in Copenhagen, Rusalочка who sits on the stone, yeah, the character by Andersen. But if you try to find this Rusalочка or mermaid here in the water, you'll find actually nothing. Probably, yeah, you'll try to find this mermaid somewhere around, but no, there is no mermaid here. And when you lost your hope to find Russalочка, you can raise your head and find her above. This is our Russalочка. So now I'll show you where we are, what I can see, and you should see too. This is one of the greatest, I suppose, view to St. Petersburg. From here we can see actually the place where the history of St. Petersburg began, Peter and Paul Fortress. Actually we can see Peter and Paul Cathedral, the cathedral after which the fortress got its name. So I probably tell the story of this fortress a bit later, but I should mention that there was the first port of St. Petersburg here, but then it moved to there, Basil Island or Vasilievsky Island. Here we can, there we can see at least, yeah, two red columns. They're called rostra columns, from Latin words rostra or rostrum. These are nose parts of ships. Between them, this actually grey building is exchange house, where some deals, some business were made. Yeah, this yellow building is Admiralty, where the ships were built, and this is probably all of you know, Winter Palace, main residence of Russian emperors, empresses, and so on. And nowadays the main building of Hermitage, our main museum, main museum of St. Petersburg. So let's start walk around Petrogradka, that is just behind me. And yeah, we'll start. So while walking, I'll I'll tell you what it's about. So we say goodbye to Peter and Paul Fortress, crossing the street, and how it all began. In the beginning of 18th century, our first emperor, Peter I, actually we had Tsars before him, but he was the first emperor, the first Tsar who got the title of emperor. And after that, our country became Russian Empire instead of just Russia. And in the beginning behind every fortress there must be some place called, I guess, Esplanade. It's about 600 meters for soldiers who live and fight in fortress to have a chance to see the enemies if they try to get to the fortress. And this huge place, which where we are now, actually of an island on which Peter and Paul Fortress is, this place is not straight. You can see, I hope, that this avenue is a bit circular. So the island is almost oval, and so this street is, yeah, circular. Well, yeah, on that place behind the fortress was built one more defense building called Kronwerk, and after that this avenue is called Kronwerk Avenue. There are only odd numbers of the houses here. On the opposite side there are no houses. We have a park. We have a park on that side. Right now I'm walking. I'm passing by our zoo, Leningrad Zoo, but right now it can be seen properly, so I tell about it a bit later. Well, yeah, this street, by the way, it had many names. Kronberg, Horse Street. What else? Yes, some more names because of Peter Street, as it ended next to Peter the First's cabin, and now it's still called Kronberg Avenue. And here you can see trainway route. It appeared in the beginning, actually in the end of 19th century. And first there was a horse railroad, if I may say, but then it was changed for tramway line, and we still have it. So yeah, we are approaching the entrance to the zoo, Leningrad Zoo. This light green building, behind the trees. It appeared in the middle of 19th century, and was the first horses, the first big zoo in Saint Petersburg. So it has quite a long history, and probably the saddest event in its history is the siege of Leningrad. During the World War II, our city, Saint Petersburg, was sieged, and it wasn't good actually for the zoo. But it survived. All the animals who lived here there also survived. Some workers of the zoo just lived in here, and in memory, after after the disappearance of USSR, when many names of streets, buildings, and so on were changed, the name of they left the name of the zoo still Leningrad Zoo. By the way, our city has changed the name sometimes. First it was Saint Petersburg, then Petrograd, then Leningrad, and then once again Saint Petersburg. And during the history of USSR, it was Leningrad. So after, in memory of these events of the siege, the zoo is Leningrad Zoo. So, the most of the buildings on Kronberg Avenue appeared in the beginning of 20th century. This was the time when everyone who built houses were like fans of modern style or Art Nouveau style or Jugendstil. So this style has many names. As I already said, most of the buildings appeared at that time. So many of the buildings, most of the buildings are built in Art Nouveau style. For example, this ornament is quite usual for Art Nouveau style. Some leaves, or something like that. Probably I find quite a great example right in front of me. This one. So what's usual for Art Nouveau style or modern style? Some clear colors, unusual for previous centuries decorations. So balconies with leaves, and what else? There's decorations of the walls. You see, they're not even. It's like, I don't know how to, just something strange. It hadn't been before. And so and they're quite high, and most of these buildings were revenue houses, which were built by some merchant or bankiers, just people of middle class, and they didn't have high education. They were clever, smart, and so on, but they had a bit not so high taste, if I may say. So they just wanted their houses to be pretty, huge probably, and so on. And that's why just to be attractive. And they built the revenue houses in this style. That's railway in St. Petersburg. They built their revenue houses in Art Nouveau style, and then people rented flats in these houses. The price of the flat depended on the floor, on the level where we lived. First, ground floors usually were taken by shops, shops and something like that, like cafes, and just like today. And then the first living floor was the second one. This is the first in the Russian. This is the second. So there were the flats with the highest prices, and the higher you lived, the less you paid for your flat. So above, just under the roof, lived the most the poorest people, like students or just poor people who couldn't pay for just flats on the first floor. And we can see here some footprints of brick style. It also was popular during the development of Art Nouveau style. And this building, I guess, is not as old as the rest of them. It looks like something new appeared, probably not so just some years ago, some decades ago. I hope. I'm on the other side of the street, and we're still on Kronerk Avenue. Actually, the life also came back to St. Petersburg. People are working, riding bicycles, eating outside, and so we are here quite active. Almost, and all the museums are almost open, so we are almost already back to life in St. Petersburg. In front of us, this one, probably a bit strange building, but it's the main building, one of the universities. One of the universities of St. Petersburg. It's called ITMO. In Russian and in English, the same. Informational Technologies, Mechanics and Optics. It appeared in the beginning of 20th century, so it has quite a long history. And nowadays it's one of the most developed, one of the most popular universities of St. Petersburg, and it has even a slogan. It's more than a university. So if you write it, you can see that its name, ITMO, is hidden in this slogan. It's more than a university. Informational Technologies, Mechanics and Optics. These are the main areas which are in which the workers and students are interested in. And by the way, one of the parts of this university is the Museum of Optics, in which, by the way, I work also as a guide. But now we are waiting till our museum is open again. I guess it happens next week, and we'll see our clients again. Now we are approaching, actually it's not a brick style, it's just some brick building. We're approaching some place. I guess it appeared, this kind of a square appeared because of this university. There are some cafes, restaurants, and bakeries. And I guess they appeared because of the students who still need to eat between the lectures, and so it's quite easy to earn money by hungry students. So it's not the cafe or bakery. Yeah, in front of me you see bakery number 13. It's one of the bakeries which I mentioned in my post about cafes in St. Petersburg. So it's a net of bakeries. So here is 13, somewhere else 30, 36, and so on. Yeah, one more bakery also with quite tasty food and buns and rolls and so on. And yeah, there is actually a row of cafes, restaurants next to bakery number 13. Yeah, 13. We have some, or we can see it because of the sun, but next to this bakery there is a Georgian restaurant. Actually, yeah, this street doesn't have all possible restaurants, but here in St. Petersburg you can find restaurant of any taste: Chinese, Japanese, Greek, yeah, actually Georgian food, Russian food, actually. What else? Yeah, just any taste. Yeah, restaurants for any taste. So yeah, by the way, this is the entrance to Itmo University, and yeah, it's even written on its facade, Itmo University. We are going further. Yeah, it's actually not a cafe, it's a drugstore. Yeah, somewhere yeah, a bit further will be one more cafe from my post, Cech 85. Yeah, 85. Sometimes I just forget some numbers from English and it's hard for me to remember. Sorry. Yeah, by the way, just in a minute you'll see one more place with the food called Hearty Market. Actually, behind these trees there is this market. It's the oldest market of St. Petersburg. First it appeared in some other place, but after the huge fire which happened soon after the appearance of this market, they moved here. So this yeah, this is the name in Russian, Sытный рынок, but for English it's like hearty, a hearty market. So why hearty? There are some theories why this market got this name, but the most popular and most looking like right version I consider to be this one, that the first governor of St. Petersburg, by the way, the best friend of Peter I, Menshikov, used to visit this market and used to say that it was very hearty. So after that phrase, this market got its name. It's still functioning. Yeah, there are some also cafes and just so yeah, here you can buy some local food. And yeah, some more cafes. They also look like a net. There are some of them around St. Petersburg, and in front of us with this blue, I don't know how to call it, blue stuff. Yeah, Cech 85, and it's even open. Yeah. For example, some days ago it was closed for some reasons, but today they are already ready to see their clients. So I even can show you some food, some pastries. Yeah, you can recognize them from the photo of the post. And now we are turning to the street, just in a second. Lenin Street, Street of Lenin. Yeah, right now, Lenin Street. It got its name after, actually after Lenin, yeah, the leader of the October Revolution in Russia. Yeah, one more example, by the way, of Art Nouveau style, and it's even written 1909, the date of its appearance. Quite simple, but quite a great example of Art Nouveau style, I guess. Probably, yeah, not a great, just just a good example. So, Lenin Street. Lenin was the leader of revolution in Saint Petersburg, and after the events of October of 1917, this street, this actually long street, but here we can see only a part of that, got its name. Before it had some strange names like White Street, Kalina Street, and this street was just a part of some other streets. In front of me, this actually pink building, but in the camera it looks like orange one or something like that. So just this building has quite a long history of changing what was inside. What was first? Yeah, actually I forgot what was the first, but here there was the bathhouse, then some pub moved in here, and the pub was there in the same time with a male primary school. It's a bit strange how pub and school can be in the same building, but yeah, it happened. Then there was cinema theater inside, and nowadays this building is turned into some business center. So it happens quite often in our city when some old, not ancient, just old buildings are turned into some business centers. And if I'm not mistaken, even after, I mean before business center, it was a bathhouse once again. Next to it is, I guess, just a continuation of this business center, but very modern style. I mean modern building. Yeah, it's not Art Nouveau, it's not constructivism, it's something else, just something modern. Well, this is one of my favorite buildings on Petrogradka. This building, it was built in the beginning of 20th century, but as I already said, yeah, modern style or Art Nouveau style was popular at this time. But this one is built in some neo-Baroque style. For some reasons, probably just the architects, not the architects, engineers, a pair of two engineers, Gigner and Wilken, built this building, designed this building in neo-Baroque style. So, anyway, it's still quite beautiful, and it's quite huge. I can show it from all the sides, but just look at that. There nowadays, yeah, we can see that there is a pub the 8. The room where it is located used to be the entrance to that house, but some creative people decided to start a pub in this room. So while moving to the next point of our tour, I just remembered that I promised to try to explain why Petrogradka is so mysterious. Actually, if you don't visit yard wells, it's not very mysterious, but we had such a phenomenon in St. Petersburg like yard wells. These are small wells which are inside houses, for example something like that house, so you can see it from for example this point, yeah, but inside yard is very small, quite dark, and yeah, it's possible to get there in this yard, but actually I guess no one has such a wish to get there, and yeah, these yards actually these yards look very mysterious, very dark, and because of one more reason why Petrogradka is so mysterious, the style. the mix of the styles, like Art Nouveau, constructivism, some just old houses from previous centuries. So the mix of the styles, the history. I'll show you one more site and continue. So this is a memorial place dedicated to one more, not actual event, but just the fact connected with the events of World War II. Here is written two women defenders of Leningrad. Женщина-защитницам Ленинграда. So during the World War II, as I already mentioned, Saint Petersburg, actually Leningrad, was sieged by Nazi army, and almost all the men went to front, went to war, and here in Saint Petersburg, in Leningrad, mostly women left, and they had to protect, defend their city. And we can see the figure of a woman. We can recognize that it's a woman. There was a part of not an army, but of some defense part, and they provided anti-aircraft defense. There were about 17,000 of these women who defended their city, and in memory of their heroism, there is such a memorial. And the color of the wall should remind us, these events, the color of the sky during the siege, during during the siege, and the reason why women had to stand for their city. So Petrogradka, Petrogradsky district, soon after the appearance during the war with Sweden. So it was, I'll remind you that it was the beginning of 18th century. Peter I had the war with Sweden to get the entrance to Baltic Sea. And here he set up our fortress, Peter and Paul fortress, and then first he had no idea, no wish to set up also a city, but then it happened that he decided to build a new city. Build a new city and move capital in here. First, the center of the city, the active life was here on Petrogradka, but soon after the death of Peter I in 1725, active life moved to another bank of Neva River. Then for some years, the whole life, the capital was moved to Moscow, back to Moscow, but then it was turned back to Saint Petersburg. So, first dwellers of Saint Petersburg lived here, in Petrogradsky district. There were some small villages of people of different nationalities, different professions, and they lived all around Petrogradka. And then after moving the active life to another bank of Neva River, there was just almost nothing here. Nobody lived here almost. So it wasn't as beautiful as right now. But then, in the beginning of 20th century, the end of 19th century, and the beginning of 20th century, people just remembered for some reasons about Petrogradka, and merchants, bankiers, all people of middle class started building their houses like this one, probably it's also of the beginning of 20th century, and so the life turned back here. So as I already mentioned, most of the houses are former revenue houses. Nowadays, some of them they're partly taken, but still communal flats. This the part of our USSR life, and partly by just separate flats taken by the only one family, the only one person. Yeah, there are actually many communal flats here on Petrogradka. And yeah, you can see this flat wall. This is considered to it was created specially to build one more house next to this one, but there is no house. Probably it used to be, but now there is no. So yeah, for the windows not to face just the wall of the next neighbor house, all the houses has such a wall. Now we're approaching Austrian Square. Austrian Square. It got its name just all of a sudden in if I'm not mistaken, in 1922, according to the style of this one, this house. Actually, according to the style of some houses. There were 4 of them, and all of them were built actually once again in Art Nouveau style, like this one. Yeah, these 2 houses, this one, and this one. There was one more house. So these 4 houses were built by architect Schaub, and there was one more house here, and it still exists, but it's not the right house, the exact house which was here in the beginning of 20th century. It was destroyed during the siege, during the World War II, and in the beginning of, in the middle of 20th century, another architect, Gavsharov, built just a new house. This house in neoclassicism style, on the place of that old previous house. It actually, this style doesn't match, I guess, the style of neighbor houses, but so it happens sometimes. And yeah, according to the style of this square. So this place, actually it wasn't supposed to be a square, but nowadays it's called Austrian Square, and some Austrian shops, Austrian restaurants were supposed to appear here, but for some reasons nowadays, they didn't appear, and nowadays we have just some shops, some shops and restaurants, but they're not Austrian. Now, I hope that you still can hear me well. It's the main street of Petrogradsky district, called Kamenostrovsky Avenue, or like Stone Island Avenue. This name the street got because previously it led to some stone island. Actually, Petrogradsky district consists of 7 islands, and one of them is called Stone Island. So this street led and still leads to this island, and that's why Stone Island and Stone Island Road. It's only about 3 kilometers long, but it's like an exhibition of Art Nouveau style. Still, this one and these ones. So we're crossing the street. Many famous people lived here in different houses. For example, this one, which on our right, it has even a name. It was a house of I don't remember the exact name, but here lived the workers of some comradeship of like workers of art, and they had some comradeship and all of them lived in here. There lived some composers, arts, actresses, some just famous people who were connected with the art and all kinds of art. Next to this building, there is nowadays it's the buildings of Len Film or Leningrad Film studio appeared in St. Petersburg in the beginning of, once again, 20th century. But before the Len Film, there was some how it is, like concert hall aquarium. The owner of this aquarium wanted to show here some fish, water plants, and had lectures to have lectures about fish and water plants. But then just a concert hall appeared here. Then the skate how it is, ice skate hall there was here, and nowadays it's Len Film studio. Well, now we have some meters in front of us. Probably you have some questions about St. Petersburg or about something. You can ask. I will try to answer. There are only two of you who watch this answer. Yeah, by the way, next to the studio there is a cinema theater, also Len Film theater. Still functioning one. Now it's closed for some time, but as the rest of the cinemas, it will be soon open again. So probably it's not right, but yeah, to cross the street with the red. But why not? No one was going to kill me. This building, doesn't connect with the rest of the buildings. It appeared only in 20th century. First, as far as I remember, it was like concert hall or something like that. And nowadays it's just like a small shopping mall with some food stores. This blue building is a music school, children music school. Actually, in St. Petersburg there are some music schools which even adults can enter. Once I've tried, but I failed. Not to enter not this school, but some other another school. But this one, has the name of one of the composers, Rimsky-Korsakov. Quite a famous composer, Russian composer. Well, we are approaching the first square of St. Petersburg, St. Trinity Square. It was the first square and the first church of St. Petersburg. So the church was called St. Trinity Church, and after the church, also the square got this name. And from that part, this part of the city to another leads a bridge, which also has the name St. Trinity Bridge. So it's a kind of a part of St. Trinity. And next to it, we'll see once again Peter and Paul Fortress. And actually, this place is the place where the life in St. Petersburg started. And here, in front of us, this is the mosque. Actually, in St. Petersburg, there are I guess all of the confessions Christianity, Jewish people, Muslims, Buddhism, so all the confessions. And in the beginning of 20th century, this mosque appeared. Before, there were some churches, Muslim churches in St. Petersburg, but in some other parts, and there were not so like rich one, beautiful one, but Muslim society of St. Petersburg wanted to have beautiful enough mosque. So they raised all the Muslims who lived here. They raised some money, enough money to build a mosque, and it appeared in 1912. In the same year when our dynasty of our emperors, Romanovs, celebrated their 3 centuries of their existence. As most of churches, chapels, and mosques of St. Petersburg, this one still functioning. Yeah, it's by the way also Art Nouveau style. Probably it's hard to connect Art Nouveau style with Muslim mosque, but it is built in this style. So I'll show you a bit closer the ornaments, decorations. Let's stop for a while. So yeah, it's quite typical, and I mean typical for the mosques, and it should resemble us one more mosque that there is. Oh, sorry, I forgot. I forgot actually the place, but somewhere just some ancient mosque that was built in 15th century. And yeah, once I found a picture in the internet of that mosque, and I can tell you for sure that yeah, actually they're almost the same. Now in front of us there is a house, actually the palace of Matilda Krzestinskaya. She was a ballerina. Actually her parents were from Poland, but she was born in Russia, and she became Russian ballerina, and she was famous not only for her dancing, but also she had some love affairs with the members of emperor family, including our last emperor, Nicholas II. And yeah, besides this fact, she was the first ballerina in the world who started doing 32 fouettes. She was the creator of this movement. I mean, this style. Nowadays, in this palace, there is State Museum of Political History of Russia. Quite a great museum. There is lots of information inside. Great exhibition, and actually, yeah, you can learn much visiting by this museum. They had audio guides, and yeah, Krzestinskaya lived here only for 11 years. In 1917, she had to move abroad because of the revolution, and the Bolsheviks, including Lenin, took this palace for their reasons. They didn't live here, but just their meetings took part in this palace. Yeah, I'll once again mention Art Nouveau style. It's quite a great example. Actually, yeah, these brick walls, ornaments, and we're almost finishing our tour. We'll once again see Peter and Paul Fortress. I can see it from my point, but probably you can't, but just in a minute I'll show you. So yeah, just a bit closer. Yeah, the spire of Peter and Paul Cathedral. As already mentioned, yeah, the fortress, first it was called, by the way, Saint-Petersburg, the fortress, but then when Peter and Paul Cathedral appeared, the whole fortress got the name of this cathedral. So now you can see red brick walls of Peter and Paul fortress. And here we finish our tour with the view to the place where the history of St. Petersburg started. Actually, Peter and Paul fortress is a separate place which worth visiting. There are some museums inside. There are some museums inside, and it's quite a great place to take a walk inside. And yeah, actually visiting this fortress can take the whole day. It has a beach. Yeah, you can just take some sunbathes in Peter and Paul fortress, and you can learn the whole history of St. Petersburg from these museums. But yeah, actually, yeah, visiting Peter and Paul fortress, it's just some another story. And now I'll say goodbye to all of you. Thanks for your attention. Yeah, welcome to St. Petersburg.